Hello, my friends, and welcome back to another episode of. So, in my last video, I gave a little intro into this new game new to me, game that I've been playing and whatnot, this medieval dynasty. So, I put it out there and asked if you guys might like to see a run through of it, and it came back as a resounding yes. So, one, I really appreciate the comebacks. You guys rock. You're phenomenal. I thank you so much for your support, you guys. But without too much John here and like that and like that, yeah, this is Medieval Dynasty, Season 1, Episode 1. Okay, see you in a bit.
I used to have a simple life. Whatever needed doing round the farm, I'd do it. Being the eldest son, it's tough. But at least we had a living, and our plates were never empty. Then, the war came. I lost everything overnight. The last thing I remember is Father pushing me away, yelling for me to run, to live. At first, I didn't know what to do. Then, I remembered. A story my mother once told me. A story about my uncle, Jordan. He made a modest fortune up north, in a peaceful valley far away from the war. For weeks I held on to that thought, until the valley from my mother's stories. I could see it. This is where I can start a new life.
Alrighty, here we go. So your basic survival kind of thing, you're starting off with nothing and whatnot. You've been cast out into the world through no fault of your own. So I guess we're going to go and see if we can't find our uncle. Oh, pardon me. Now just get the intro screen done with. You're going to get a fair bit of this at the beginning of the game. Oh, pardon me, guys. My coffee's talking back here. Like any game, you're going to get a bit of that at the beginning, just to kind of feed you the story and the characters and what have you. So yeah, here we are. So Denica is that way. We're going off to Gostovia. But first, we're going to have a little peek-see look around here, like in any survival game. You got to, let's see, it's too early. That's my night vision kind of thing that I got going there, my hunter's vision, but it's too early. I can't equip it yet. Anyway, so as you can see, rocks and sticks and opportunistic finds. So we got a hat, way cool. That's going to give us some protection from the sun. And we got ourselves a copper sickle, which is way cool again. Now I'll probably end up selling that. What do we got in here? Ooh, right, we'll take that. Yep, and yep. Oh, who am I kidding? Right now we're going to take everything, aren't we? But yeah, the sickle and stuff I don't really have a use for right at the moment, but it is something I can sell and whatnot to make some early game money. Another thing that I'm going to be doing is making up some knives. They're very easy to do. You need a couple of stone and I think 5 stick, and you can make yourself a knife. Now these knives, if I remember right, I think they sell for around 20 coins a piece, whatever the coinage is, drachmas, ruples, cents, dollars, British sterling. This is 1160 Europe, so whatever the the currency was at the time. So we'll just call them coins for now, yeah? All right, so moving over here, just have a little look-see. Okay, this is what we got. So we come with food, got a couple of oat rolls and whatnot. We got a torch, and then of course the sickle we picked up. Clothing, we should put that hat on there. That'll give us a little extra protection from the weather. And whether I'm right or whether I'm wrong, and all we do is talk about the weather. Yeah, there's that copyright for you. Oh, pardon me. Jazz DeLorean. Tankus Henge, Tankus the Henge, I believe. Anyway, he's the keyboard guy for Tankus the Henge, Jazz DeLorean. Now, he does a lot of his own solo stuff. And he's got one song, it's called, Talk About the Weather. And that's what he says in there. He's got this deep, kind of whiskey voice, and he's like, and all we do is talk about the weather, whether I'm right or whether I'm wrong. And then the song goes on from there, of course. But he's just, if you ever get a chance, Jazz DeLorean, and he plays keyboard like nobody's business. And he's the type of guy, it's like he'll come over to your house, and if you got a piano sitting in the corner, next thing you know, you got a party going on, right? I mean, it's just no matter where he is, he's playing the keyboards, And he's got this old upright that he plays. It's just, well, it's been through the wars, hasn't it? But he's had it forever and a day. But yeah, Jazz DeLorean, if you ever get a chance and whatnot, check him out. He's well worth a listen. Okay, so getting back to what we're doing at hand here, you can see we got a few of them made up now. And as I go along and pick up sticks and stones and like that, then we'll make more knives, as many as we can get together, and like that. So take like this, make a spear, because that's kind of handy dandy. But as you can see, I need a log and whatnot to do that with. And in order to do that, we're going to need an axe. So we're going to have to start making up these as we go. We'll need an axe, we'll need a hammer, we'll need a pick, of course, for chipping away at stone, and later on for looking for ore, your tin, your copper, iron, that kind of stuff, right? But in the meantime and in between time, let's see, what do we got going here? I want that one, but I think we're a little early. Yeah, that's not unlocked yet. Okay, well, let's just go up top with the experience. You can't go wrong there. More experience is always good, right? Everything's a lesson, even if it's in not how to behave, or in how not to behave, I should say. Pardon me. There we go. Got a few more of these, a couple of them, and all this happy grinding stuff. But yeah, this game, I did a little playthrough on it. I got, I don't know, about 160 hours into it, I guess. When that little bit I put together to show you guys in my last vid. That's year 9, and of course I'm married, and I've got my heir. He's 5 years old in that run through. But yeah, the idea of being in this is you move forward, you kind of get your feet under you, you start making a little bit of headway, get yourself a little kind of a house together, your first house. And then of course, you plant your first field, get your crops growing, and while you're doing that, you're looking for a wife, because a wife in this game is very important. A wife can help you with your hunger and thirst. A wife can help you with your wounds and help clean you up and whatnot. But most importantly, for the game basis, is producing an heir, because you need an heir to carry on in this game. It's a long-lived game, and you go through your age. Like right now, I'm 18. You can see right there in my avatar, right above my hat, it says age 18. So you will go through, get married, have a child or 2, depending, and you will get older, and then when the child reaches maturity, I think 18, if I'm not mistaken. See, this is something you got to watch for. Frickin' Widowmakers here. I swear the game's out to get you. Okay, that's 1, that's 2. Oh, you see what I'm saying? Just like, and trees will kill you. If a tree falls on you, you will die. Or take, extreme damage. You might squeak through and not die if you got enough life force in you. But yeah, they will take you out, and they do it just a blink of an eye. You don't even know. You're cutting away, and all of a sudden the tree jumps. Next thing you know, you're done. Or you get a hang up like that, and so you go to free it up on the next tree that it's leaning against, and you'll cut that tree, and then they both come down, and the one of them will bonk you on the head or whatever. But yeah, getting back to the game itself, you want the wife for the heir. So then what happens is you go through your life, you age and what have you, and then your heir takes over, and then you start playing the game through the eyes of your heir, I believe. Now, I haven't got that far in the game, so so I don't really know exactly. But at that point, once you've finished with, like, say, the main story of the game, you can go on. And the nice thing about this game is you are not limited to a given area per se. It's a fairly open world. The map is pretty extensive. That being said, I mean, you can cross it on foot, but it's going to take you a day, right? So I'll do a quick little save here. And we're going to continue on with the gathering of. And you'll notice when I cut these trees down and harvest them, not only do I get the logs, which a maple will give you 4 logs, a spruce will give you 3, and a birch will give you 2. Now you see there's 1 log, grab that stick, log number 2, log number 3, and of course log number 4. So there we go. Pardon me. But yeah, when you fall the trees and whatnot, you also get a few feathers. So clearly there's a bird's nest or whatever in the trees. So that is convenient as all get out, because the bird feathers you can use for fletching on your arrows. And when you get enough of them, you can use them as a barter too, sell them off. There's what I'm looking for. Okay, so we need a pick, and then we will get ourselves some rock. Now, when you pick rocks up off the ground, you get 1 rock. You pick a stick up off the ground, you get 1 stick. When you grab the saplings and whatnot, you'll get 2, 3, 4 sticks. In the rocks here, you might get 2, you might get 4 or 5, depending. Certainly, if I had an iron pick, I would get more than I'm going to with a stone pick, of course, right? So, I mean, it makes sense, right? So we'll just kind of speed this up just a wee little bit and continue on grabbing this and grabbing that. My English is way more goodlier today. You can tell, right? I've had absolutely enough coffee, right? And getting all my Merzbooks and Bach and backwards here. Okay, anyway, so move along. Craft up a few more handy dandies. Johnny be good, never use more than once, don't leave out in the rain bush knives. And as I say, it's simple money. You're walking along, you just look down at your feet, you pick up the sticks, you pick up the stones, and plants. There's certain plants and herbs that you can pick up. Now, wide leaf plantain. You consume that or make it into a tincture. It's good for restoring your health. St. John's wort. You use that, you can consume it as it is, or again make it into like a tincture or whatever. Now that is good for an antidote for poisoning and whatnot. So various herbs do various things for you, obviously, and whatnot. So, gathering those is good, and you can use them for barter too, but more to the point, you've got them for your health and what have you. So as we move along, you'll see me gather up more of those. Straw. Oh my gosh, straw. You are going to need a buttload of straw in this game. You need it for your roofs on your house at the very beginning, before you can make shake roofs and whatnot. You got to do the straw. You need it to make daub for your walls. You need it to make animal feed. You can bind oat and rye and straw to make animal feed. The reason I'm booting here is because I have got to get down to the water and get a drink. If you notice on the lower left, you can see where it's got my hydration is the blue bar on the right, and then inside that is my hunger, and then on the other side, the left side, the outer one that you see going down all the time and then coming back up, that of course is my stamina. And the one inside of that, of course, is my health. Now, water in this game. There is water all over the place. There are little streams and whatnot, and you can drink from any one of them. Here we got your pussy willows and whatnot. Now, you want to grab the reeds, and the reeds are a way of making straw, right? So you gather the reeds, you dry them, and they're good for thatch and for your roof and everything else, right? My suggestion to you, grab it all. Wherever and whenever you can find straw, grab it. You're going to need it. You won't be sorry. There's no such thing as like too much straw in this game at the beginning of the game, man. Okay, so we'll just boot back up in here. Grab you while we're at it. Yoink and yoink. Thank you so much. Don't mind if I do. Now you see all the flowers and stuff that I'm going by here? You really shouldn't. You really should stop and pick them up and gather as much of those as you can. You'll need them later on. Right now it's not important. Hey, that's Elwin. We'll have dealings with Elwin later. He's a cool guy. He's got problems. But then it's the Middle Ages. We've all got problems, man. Okay, here we go. Unigast. There you are. This is the guy I'm supposed to find. Okay, now I'm kind of just going to speed through this. If you guys want to pause it and read as we go, there's a lot to take in here. So you can pause that and read it all. I'm not going to spend 15 minutes reading it. Basically what's happening here is you're talking to him. He's going, oh, I recognize you because of your eyes. You look like your uncle, right? They've got one eye this color and one eye that color. And hey, how are you? Background stories, blah, blah, blah. Okay, I grant you permission to build anywhere in the valley. Holy no dick you do. So now I can go anywhere, and in this game, any open land that's not claimed, you can build on if the game will let you build on it. Like, you know, in the swamps and stuff, nah, you're not going to be able to find a spot, really, you know, the odd one. But for the most part, any sort of kind of level ground-ish, then yeah, you're going to be able to. So now that's the St. John's wort I was telling you about there. Okay, berries, when they're ripe, they are your best friend. They have literally saved my life more than once in this game when I've been down and out and got nothing, but I had a pocket full of berries, and they're good for half of a food point and 1 hydration. So you need a bunch of them, but hey, in a pinch, they will help you. Okay, so I'm going to boot through, and basically what I'm going to do is just gather up all of the reeds that I can so that I've got an abundance of straw. You want to get, you know, a couple of hundred anyway, right? Ish. I mean, just as much as you can get. Okay, grab these quick like here. Now the game wants me to cut down a couple of trees. So here we go. I'll cut this one down here. And again, and now don't move. Where's this going? I could just see this thing kicking back and hitting me in the face. Okay, we'll let that settle. One hit takes away. There, you see, this game is out to kill me, man. I don't know what I did, but it's out to get me. You guys are witnesses. You saw that. Yeah, sometimes the trees, they fall in weird ways, just like real life, you know, maples, because they're so crooked and whatnot. It's hard to tell where they're going to drop, right? A little easier with something like a spruce or, you know, something like that, but something that's all twisty and that, like maple, she'll be going down, all of a sudden she'll give a twist to the left, next thing you know, you're wearing it. So you can see with the night vision, or the hunter's vision, whatever you want to call it, how it illuminates the herbs and all the stuff you can pick up, the rocks, the, you know, sticks and all that. So if you're looking to gather and you're having a hard time during the day kind of seeing things, go out at night with your night vision and, you know, turn it on and walk around and do that. It does use up your stamina, so you can only use it for so long. Of course, the more stamina you got, the longer you can do it, right? We're just going to do a little crafting here. There we go. Ta-da! New levels and everything. Okay, so we've kind of advanced enough that the game is happy with what we've done. So now what we're going to do is get enough raw materials together to build our first house. Now this is going to be a temporary structure. The reason I'm building it here is because it's close to Gostovia, and in Gostovia I'm hoping to find a future bride, because as I mentioned earlier, you need a wife for, well, several things, but mostly, foremost, you need her for an heir, and the sooner you get that going, well, you know, the better kind of thing. I'm looking at, there we go, put a point in there. I'm looking at kind of, I'd like to do the log cabin in the bush with the wife and the kid and just kind of take it nice and slow and easy, and then, we'll start to add on. As you require other buildings, then you're going to require, villagers to work the buildings, to work your fields, all that happy stuff, right? Okay, so this is the only one we can build right now. It's the smallest of the houses, and you can build just a stick and wattle, or you can go whole hog and go stones and whatnot. Now, for my money, take the time, build it out of stone. It's not going to need repair as often. It's going to give you a much better insulation factor against the winters. And the winters in this game can be cruel, man. Yeah, they're harsh. So, of course, daub and wattle is going to wear, and you're going to have to repair it more often. A straw roof as opposed to a shake roof. You see, now that's the wattle there. Now I'll show you the difference here. I'll change it up, and we're going to go over to a wall, and now we're going to pick stone, and here we go. Boom. There you are. Now, the reason it does, I hit it once and boom, it's done, is I've gone in and I've done fast crafting. So what happens is with one hit, it takes whatever I've got in my inventory that's necessary for what I want to create and puts it all in there in one go. Boom. Otherwise, you're sitting there going bangity, 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 bangity. It takes you about 8 or 9 hits on each one, and it just becomes rather, redundant after a bit of a time, right? So this way, it's in, out, done, Kate's your aunt, Bob's your uncle, and I wish I could talk today, but I cannot. Okay, we're just going to gather a bit more stone here so we can finish off the house, and like that, and like that. So bear with me as we move along. Okay, let's see, yeah, that's what we want there. And you'll notice, of course, on the right side of the screen is the longevity of your weapon and or tool that is in your hand. It's going to wear with time and use, of course, right? Okay, let's get our hammer back up here. Plunk. There we go. And I'll show you how to change your walls up too. Okay, so we did the, just bear with me, I'll get this finished off up here. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, take my hammer and I'm going to go destroy. Boom. Now I take my hammer, I'm going to go into build. Now I'm going to hit edit, choose my window, go over to stone, and kaboom. And there you go. So now we're all stone. And I can keep an eye on the bridge, all that happy, crappy stuff. Now we'll do this one, and then you're going to see that now I have a bed and a fireplace and all that. The fireplace is good for, cooking your food and for warmth and what have you. You're going to have a storage shed in here, and in there you're going to want to keep your firewood and all your necessities, right? And not just for you, but for your villagers later. Once you have a resource station, then anybody that's in your village can access that station, right? But before you have that, okay, we're just going to make a quick trap or a fire, I mean. The reason I'm doing this is I want to sleep through the night. So I'm at Gustovia, but everything's closed up. They've all gone to bed. So once you're a certain distance away from the town, you can build a fire. Or you can't build too close to a town for obvious reasons, right? So then we'll light the fire, do a little ujah cum pivi on the meat situation here, and then we'll sleep through the night, and we'll head into Gustovia, and it'll be morning and whatnot. So getting back to the storage, if you have 3 or 4 houses and you don't have a resource station, then you need to provide your people with their basic necessities. Buckets of water, food to eat, and firewood. If you don't have those, their mood is going to drop, and if it drops down far enough, then they'll just leave your village and, up your kilt, see you later. Okay, now what have you got? Come here, come here.
It's nice to meet you.
Yes, pleasure to meet you
Best
too.
goods in the
Let's
valley.
show us your wares. Okay, she got manure. I wish I
See you
could buy
soon.
manure, but I don't need it right now because I don't have a barn. But manure, of course,
An
fertilizer, right?
unfamiliar. Let me show you my
There's the
wares.
guy we want. There's what we're looking for. Okay, now I need a bow. And the longbow you can see is far superior to the recurve bow. So we're going to take the longbow. There we are. And we're going to need some arrows too, of course.
It was nice
I'll only be
seeing
able to
you.
get stone arrows right now, I think. But anyway, such is life. Okay, so we're just kind of trucking through the bush here, having a little look-see, picking up things as we go. Oh, there's a fox now. See, if an intelligent man were doing this, he would already have his bow and arrows equipped, and we could have had a shot off by now. But I are a silly little tea-stained, crumpet little idiot, and this is what we're going to do. Okay, so now we'll equip the arrows, because it's kind of important to have projectiles for your bow. Okay, now where'd you go, you little bugger? Sneaky peeky, and he's heard us, and he is gone. Just like that. Okay, well, best laid plans, eh? Lunch bag let down. All right, we'll just keep sneaking and peeking here on the off chance, but don't think that's going to happen. All right, well, I'm going to keep looking around here, and I'll catch up with you in a short, yeah? Okay, so we are in, we're in a town. It's a little tiny hamlet. And what I'm doing is I'm looking for a particular vendor because the vendor will have a large backpack and a large pouch. And the reason I want those is because those are going
It's
to
nice to meet you.
increase my carrying
Whatever you
capacity.
need, I've got it.
You'll see right now it says infinity. That's because it was beginning of the game and I was throwing a little cheat in there so that I could carry more resources so I could build my house quicker and whatnot. But with the purchase of these two items, I'm going to go back in and we're going to go back vanilla. And my carry weight, I think, tops out at 65 kilos, I think. Don't quote me, but I think it's in around there. But yeah, as you see in the bottom right corner of the left-hand screen, at the bottom of this screen, you see it says infinity. Now, once I equip these, I will go into settings and I will set it back to vanilla, and it won't say infinity. The next time you bring that screen up, it will have, I don't know, 60, 65, whatever it is, yeah? Okay, so off and running. These gentlemen, the Wagoneers you see to my left there, you can fast travel with them. It'll cost you an arm and a freaking leg. It's like 500 coins to go to the closest place or whatever. It's just insanely expensive. So, I mean, if you got the money to throw around, fair dinkum. But for me, we're on Shank's pony, man. We are hoofing it. Okay, so we're back out in the wilds, having a little peek. So you want to try and get a little bit of meat together. Now, what do we got? Oh, rats. Be very, very quiet. Okay, good shot. So, we'll dress out this little bugger. Now, out of this, I'll get, I think, 2 pieces of meat, and I'll get some fur. So that's all good. The fur we can use for crafting and or barter. Now you see those morels on the ground, the mushrooms? Grab those because, hold on, and now. There we go, headshot. Yeah, the morels, the mushrooms and whatnot, you can eat them. They do have a certain poison level, and various mushrooms, like say your parasols compared to your morels, your poison level is going to be a little higher. If you get into, amanitas and the flies, well, the poison level is going to be way higher, isn't it? Next thing you know, you're going to end up in a hole in the ground, 7 little guys, mushrooms, yes, but that's another story. Okay, now you see beside the circle, on my health and my food. Notice how that just disappeared? That was showing me that I was dirty and that I needed to clean up. The reason you want to do that in this game is because if you are stinky and dirty, people are less likely to have positive dealings with you. You know, you're trying to flirt with a woman and like that. Well, you want to be presentable, right? So, of course, we're just going to cook over the fire here and cook up that meat that we just got. In that cauldron above the fire, later on, you'll be able to make soups, porridge, pottage, stuff like that. Pottage is really good in this game because all you need is some raw meat, some cabbage, and some water and a wooden bowl. And you can make pottage. And it replenishes your food and your water quite a fair bit. I'm not sure of the exact stats per se, but yeah, early game and whatnot, once you can make pottage, do it. It's good, as I say. Now we're just going to make a trap here, and we're going to go get some water rabbits. No, we'll set her up behind the house. Now, it doesn't really matter where you set the trap because basically it's just an algorithm. You set it up, and eventually, a rabbit's going to come into the trap, no matter where you put it, other than the obvious, like underwater, okay? I mean, let's be a little reasonable here. But yeah, so I can't sleep yet. It says I've got almost 2 days. So I'm going to complete this quest. You'll remember Unigos said to go talk to his wife after I built my house, and she would hook me up with a little bit of food and water. So we're going to have a little interesting conversation here, pass a few jokes back and forth. The reason that you want to do the funnies and stuff like that, it sets them at ease and it just gives them a more positive response to you, right? So if you're in a barter situation, unlike this one here, but I mean, if you're in a barter situation rather, then the happier the guy is, the more likely you are to get a better deal, right? So we'll go on and we'll talk about her silly little husband and backstories and oh yes, and ho-de-do, dick-de-do, and everything else. But I will go through this and you guys can kind of pause it and read it for yourselves. As I mentioned, at the beginning of this game, you're going to get a lot of this backstory and what have you. But it's only for the first little part of the game. And then, it all clears up and you get to play the game proper without having to stop and read an encyclopedia of back knowledge and what have you. Now, that being said, it is necessary to the game to give you the backstory and to help you set up and get comfortable with the interactions of people. And I mean, that's all the game's really doing here, right? Just kind of getting you familiar with everything. We'll continue on here. Oh, come on. Don't blah, 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 blah. He doesn't want to take charity. Well, okay, you can do something for me. And then she's going to send you on a side quest where you've got to you got to go track down this person because they normally deliver the rye and stuff for them to make their alcohol, and apparently it hasn't shown up, so she's going to want you to go and have a talk, and that'll be your first little side quest, right? And yeah, and you can see beside her name, you see the little sack there up top and whatnot. That shows that she's a vendor, right? Now, over by that campfire you see there, that's where travelers sit. They've got no place to go, so they want to be safe for the night. You come inside the town walls and you can sit by a warm fire. I mean, it don't give you a bed or nothing, but, at least you can sit by the fire, right? Now, that's not Unighost. Where are you to, man? Ah, there you are. Hey, where are you going? Hey, come back. You and I are going to drink beer and we're going to talk. Get back here. There we go. Okay, now this is the part where you sit down and you have a couple of beer with the boy, and he tells you a couple of little anecdotes and some backstory, and then he's going to send you off on a quest of his own. You got to go talk to, I think, what's the guy's name, Sobimo or something like that. I don't know. This will all be made clear. So again, by all means, pause through here. It's a lot of reading, I know. Who thought you'd have to go back to school to play a game, eh? Yeah, ever since I took that Evelyn Wood sped reading course, my reading has improved 100%. Shout out to old Cheech and Chong. I think that's off of Up in Smoke, if I remember, which I probably don't, because, after all, I'm a child of the 60s, and, well, if you remember the 60s, let me tell you, kids, you weren't there. So, yes, it's a little long in the tooth, this part here, but bear with me. Once we get through all this grindy stuff, it becomes far more enjoyable, and like that and like that. So moving along, clickety-click. So while we're doing this, how have you all been? I hope that this finds you guys well and happy and enjoying whatever it is you're doing on whatever day it is, wherever you are at whatever time, because I, of course, have no idea when you will be seeing this. For me, it's August the 1st, and it is 10 o'clock in the a.m. I'm running late. I usually do these in the wee hours in the morning when I first get up, 4:30, 5 o'clock. It's all nice and quiet. Okay, so we finished with that, and now we can move on. You see? So now we're going to head her out of here, and I'm going to go down and have a talk at this fireplace and check out and see who's who and like that and like that. So now I can bring up their stats by bringing up my night vision. You see the numbers, right? So those are their skill sets. Now, 3s are better than
Welcome.
2s and
It was
1s,
nice
obviously. What do you got? What do you got? Ah, you see, it's too late at night. He's off to bed. He won't sell me nothing. Now, who are you? Okay. What are your numbers? Okay, she's got a 3, and you can see it's over the fish with the spear through it. So that's survival. So she'll be good at fishing and hunting, not hunting per se, fishing and, scrounging, going around, finding shrooms and all that good kind of stuff. But more importantly, we're just going to kind of go through and try and woo her, get her affection up. And once you get 100% affection, then you can ask her to marry you. And, if she says yes, of course, all good, and into your house you go. And if it doesn't work out, well, there's plenty of fish in the sea. I mean, each of these villages all has a common fireplace, right? So you go around, and this is where you get your villagers from. You go in, you look at the stats. I need a hunter, so you look for somebody with high hunting skills. I need somebody to work in my mines. So that would be an extraction thing. So you're going to look for somebody with high extraction skills, and so on and so forth. I mean, it's all pretty common. Anybody that's ever played a survival game knows exactly what we're talking about here. So we're just going to keep making the small talk. And you want to kind of figure out what kind of person it is that you're talking to. Are they a practical person, hardworking? Are they whimsical and what have you? Practical jokers? Are they, whatever their kind of shtick is, you want to ask questions that are going to be helpful in that area. So you don't want to talk about yourself to this woman. You want to ask about her. What's her background? Does she have any family? And through that, you can see that this one's got a wicked sense of humor, so that's all good. So now what will happen is you can talk to them 2, 3 times or whatever, and the affection will either go up or go down depending on your question and their answer per se, right? And then once you've done that, she'll say, sorry, but I've got to kind of think about what you said to me there. Come back later. So then you'll give it a day or so, and the next time you're in town, you stop and you talk to her again, and you ask her more questions. Also, if you can find the right vendors, there's certain traveling vendors that have things you can buy, perfume, necklace, comforter for a bed, dried figs per se. Each one of these gifts you would give to a person who is a certain way. Jewelry, somebody who is, likes to talk about themselves and like that. Dried figs for somebody who's practical type of thing, like perfume for somebody else, right? But either way, you give that to them, and that will also bring up their affection type of thing, right? So we've done pretty good there. I don't know that we can get her affection up anymore at the moment. but we will keep trying here. Okay, yeah, sorry, no, I need to process doop. So we are done talking to her for the now. But she's a year older than I am. I'm 18, she's 19, so that's a pretty good matchup.
Goodbye.
I should mention, speaking of that, any more than 10 years difference in age, and you can't produce. They won't have children. And that goes for your villagers. Okay, if your villagers are 11, 12 years apart in age, you can put them in the same house. They're never going to get married. They're never going to have kids because there's too much of an age difference, right? It's got to be within a 10-year thing. So, okay, we've pretty much done what we can do here. I'm going to head back down to the house. And again, what's going to happen is once I can get a wife, then I'm going walkabout. They'll stay here at the home and take care of biz. I'm going to go look for a place to build our first house. And then I'll take this one down because I do not want to be paying taxes on a house and property that I'm not going to live in. But guys, I think we've covered a fair bit for today for an intro. So I'm going to leave this one here for the now, get some sleep, and we'll get back at her. So as always, brightest blessings, my friends. Now go tell somebody you love them, yeah?